today can go sideways in an instant. What's here today can be gone tomorrow. We live in a world full of uncertainty. Are you ready to survive? This is the weathered soul.
Well, howdy guys, how you guys doing? Man, it's been a long time since I've been live on the Weathered Soul. It's been, I think, about a month and a half. And there's a good reason for that. And, well, maybe could be a good reason, could not be a good reason, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Episode 7 of the Weathered Soul podcast dives into an area that is just unexpected before the last episode, because what I've been doing is I've been doing a homesteading podcast that delves into permaculture and prepping, and being valuable asset to your community and such. But the vision of mine that started several years ago has had its ups and downs, and the year 2022 was no different. What seemed to be a breakout year for me and the business ventures that I ended up being into, at my opinion, they were mediocre. What seemed, and I just kind of was wondering, were my expectations too high? Did I bite more off than I can chew? Or was my effort too little? And I'm reading right now, so I'm reading off of the script that I made. So just bear with me for a little bit, because this is a very important message that I want to get to you guys tonight, because it's been a while and I wanted to talk to really expressly the people at the Nomad Network, and those of you who have no idea what the Nomad Network is. But many times I've mentioned Jason Stapleton as a mentor and driving force of my entrepreneurial adventures. I've been following him for a greater part of a decade, listening and gleaning and buying his workshops and programs. He's built a vision of coaching and supporting entrepreneurs such as myself, and has been pivotal in my efforts in building the Weathered Soul, which is my brand. And now Jason would be the first to say, it isn't me who got you where you are today, Bruce. It was your effort. And to me, I would say, yeah, you're correct. You're correct, Jason. However, without the community of people that he built via the Nomad Network, the support, the information, and the mentoring that he gives from his heart, and the vast number of entrepreneurial adventures that he himself has accomplished, this is kind of a tribute to his contribution to the world as a whole. And are there others out there like Jason? Yep, probably. Have other people contributed to the benefit of others in a selfless manner, such as what Jason provides? Yeah, maybe. But nevertheless, this is a person that was blessed upon me as a mentor, and I've had many. Now, this is my story about my relationship with not only Jason Stapleton, but with the community that he created, which is the Nomad Network. Now, my name is Bruce, aka the Weathered Soul, Bruce McGee. You can find me on the Nomad Network, but more importantly, down there on the thirds there, you can see that I have a Twitter handle. It's also known as TWS. You can also find me at theweatheredsoul.com. That is my website. And I will take Bitcoin if you would like to support this podcast. And Bitcoin, you can get me at this little address right there. You just type that in. Those of you who like to deal with Bitcoin, you know what that address is for. Go ahead and send me some Bitcoin if you're feeling up to it, and you're feeling that this could be a episode or a program that you might want to find a value. I'm more than happy to take your donations. Anything else that you need to know, show notes and stuff like that, are in the description underneath this podcast, whether you're being on YouTube or any of your audio stuff that you got going on, the podcasting podcatchers like iTunes and stuff like that. All that information is under there. I really don't want to dwell on it too much tonight. I just want to kind of get back into the swing of doing the podcast again and of such. So the reason why I'm doing this is because it's been, like I said before, the outlook of this year really was high energy. It was really, really, I had my ideas. I got, all these ideas and these ambitions and objectives that I wanted to do at the first of the year. And everything was all bright. And when you get into the first of the year and you're able to leave the prior year behind and you're ready to bust out into the new year of 2022, you're all full of hope and all kinds of things. And that's kind of what I did. And as I went through the year, like I said, if you've been following me on the podcast, I closed down the old podcast, started this new podcast with a new kind of objective that I wanted to go through. But I'm also in all kinds of other businesses. I got my hands everywhere. I'm busy all over the place. And sometimes that busyness can kind of get to you and be, kind of all over the place. And sometimes you'll walk into this room, like the studio that I have here, and it's just a mess. And why is it just a mess? Because I've got all these little projects going on. And sometimes when you get all these little projects going on, you lose focus on what the most important project is, which is the one that, that you have the passion for. So I've had a couple of passions. I'm into plant-based supplements and probiotics, which is one of the businesses of mine. I'm also developing some barbecue accessories and things like that I'm trying to market and come up with some ideas with and doing videos on that. I also took up horticulture, permaculture, prepping, and homesteading. Another one of my passions. My wife is into making seasonal wreaths and decorations and stuff like that. So that's another thing that we got going on. All these things going on top of my 9 to 5. My wife's needs, my family's needs, my house's needs, my car's needs, my every need under the sun has to be taken care of, and sometimes, like I said, we bite off a little bit more than we can chew. And I just wanted to be here and say, that that's what happens. A lot of people that know me out there, especially at the Nomad Network, know that I'm high energy. They know that I am ambitious. And believe me, when I say that it's been mediocre at best, it's because I don't realize that even the most successful people have mediocre years. I mean, look what happened to the guy at FTX in this last week. If you've been, listening to the crypto world, you can see that he was like, this multi-billionaire, and now he is broke and hiding out in the Caribbean somewhere. So, I mean, even the best of people have mediocre years. And sometimes it's one of those things where you get just a little bit embarrassed, that you have all these high expectations, and at the end of the year, you kind of take stock and look back and go like, hey, I really didn't make the mark. And so that's kind of what happened to me. So I wrote some stuff down. This is what I really wanted to share on the network. And like I said, a lot of this has to do with the people that are on the network. This is the message that I have for them, because I have been gone for a couple of months. I think that I don't think I've been on the network until since August or something like that was the last time I was there. And basically, it kind of goes along with the first part of this program that I said. Oh, by the way, it's November 14th, and this is episode 7 of The Weathered Soul. And like I said, you can catch up with this on any of your podcatchers and the YouTubes and stuff like that. So that's where we're at here. And there's Kenneth, man. Kenneth Madden from Mad K Studios. I'm constantly overwhelming myself. Step back and regroup. It always moves me forward, man. I love Ken Madden. He is a good friend of mine. But here's what I wanted to write you guys and let you know. The last couple of months, basically, the whole of 2022 has been a disaster for myself, and this is kind of what I'm trying to convey. I wanted to end this year being so positive, and I'm not writing this because I'm looking for sympathy or garnering attentions or for my opinions and editorials. I'm writing this for therapy, and I did write this for therapy. I write a lot of things for therapy, because if I don't write it down, then I don't realize that these are the things that I'm feeling. I kind of blow it aside, and that's all it. So today, what I'm writing, what I'm saying to you, I hope that it would help somebody else that's out there in the Nomad Network, that's out there in the YouTube land or the podcast land, who's an entrepreneur, who's trying to start a business, who's trying to just go forward with their life, even if it's something about just getting a job or getting beyond stepping out of the box that they are. I hope I give this some kind of encouragement, because there's many times that I'm sitting by myself, and in my mind I'm rehearsing these words that I want to say to a certain person, a customer, or a group of people. And you feel if you only just had the recorder in front of you, or you put a pen to paper, that speech would be perfect. And then you get the courage to get up in front of your camera and you fire up the word processor or whatever it is, and you're confident that this is your time. Or you finally have that idea that the person that you desire in front of you, you know exactly what you want to say, and you're primed, ready to go. And then, it doesn't come out. Then you remember those times. You remember your past. You remember your failures. You remember your trials and your tribulations. And then you kind of go like, yeah, does this person even want to hear what I have to say? And then you start thinking about what time of year it is. Is it the right time to be talking to this person? What is this person going through right now? You just really don't know. So you kind of just shut up, because you just go like, they don't want to hear it. And then you shut down, or even worse, you get in front of the camera, the keyboard, or the person, and you epically stumble upon every word that you carefully rehearsed. I've never in my many years being in the public eye have been a loss for words or suffered for a lack of enthusiasm. And today, and this year, has been one of those years where it was beginning full of hope and objective. The year was going to be my breakthrough year. The business, the family, the outlook, to everything. Somehow this year went on, and the pressure to succeed mounted. My effort was in full stride. My enthusiasm was in high gear. This was going to happen. And then I don't know what happened. Too many logs on the fire, too high expectations, too much stress. I hate blaming one condition, but this one's flatly on me. It really is. You see, I get caught up in the shiny object syndrome. I quit things when they're going good because, well, maybe I'm scared. Maybe I don't really want to succeed. Or maybe I just get bored because success did not come fast enough. I don't know, and I'm trying to figure out. That's where I'm at right now. I'm impatient. I'm demanding. I'm addicted to tunnel vision. And my tunnel vision is my 9 to 5. My job is the major source of my income. Let me tell you about my job. I love my job. I love my 9 to 5. I've gotten myself into a situation at my job where I'm the absolutely best of what I do. And they've rewarded me on that. They depend on me on that. If we were going to have layoffs or anything, I'm pretty damn confident that I would be the last one to go. So I put a lot of stress on myself. I put a lot of effort into my job because I want to make sure that company succeeds, because they have helped me succeed. They've helped me, even produce this office, this podcast, the equipment that I have here. So back on the stresses of a multifaceted life, in some ways spinning out of control, and in other ways gelling into a life that I actually wanted. And for a very long time, I'm still grieving over the loss of my son that was taken too soon a couple of years ago. And I know I'm rambling, but I labored over a fishing vacation that I love to go on every year. And for some reason, I really just didn't want to attend. But the tradition over 50 years that these guys have been going demanded that I attended. I was a part of that group of people. I was a part of the leadership of that group. So, well, during that trip, I suffered a condition that I never suffered before. I had altitude sickness. First time I've had that in my whole life. We're up about 9,500 feet up at this canyon. And as soon as I got out of the car, I just didn't feel good. And it wouldn't go away. I've always had a little bit of altitude sickness when I got up there, but this just held on and held on and held on. And then about halfway through the trip, we got rained out. And at the time, we were kind of, used to the fact that if it rained, it just rained a little bit. Well, this was a hard rain. We had a summer tent up. Me and my buddy were sleeping in the same tent, big old tent, and all of our stuff just got all wet. So I wasn't feeling well and stuff like that. So I decided to pack everything up and go. And we had went and got the boat out of the lake, and we were all wet and just trying to get things going and getting things into the car and getting ready to leave. And my buddy's truck was in the middle of the trail, and he's got this great big tall truck with, window, whole big windows and stuff. And he's got this rear view mirror that comes out of the side. And I'm trucking up the hill with my stuff, and I thought I could make it underneath the mirror. And as I went underneath the mirror, I knocked the hell out of myself, gave myself a whiplash. And at the same time I gave myself a whiplash, what happened was I whiplashed myself so hard, something happens in my shoulders. My shoulder has just been in agony for probably, the better part of 2 months now. I mean, it's getting better and stuff like that, but that's what happened. So the whole month of September, I was feeling out of sorts and suffering with whiplash. And my wife inadvertently gives me a concussion about 2 weeks later. We live in California, sunny California. We go to the store. I put the sun visor in the window, and hold it down with my, flip down visors. And my wife gets in the car. She takes the sun visor up, but she doesn't get the sun visors that hold the visor in all the way. And I just get into the car, not even knowing, and wham, I hit the side of my head. And I was suffering from this whiplash, and all of a sudden I get this concussion. So it was the crappiest September I ever had. But this is one of the things that just set me back. And so on top of that, I had an emergency appendectomy in April. And like I said, I don't want to make a whole lot of excuses for what happened and what didn't happen and things like that. But it was just one of those years where you had really high expectations, and all these things just kind of, they just pile on top of you. Social commitments and professional commitments, family commitments, it all really came to a head. And now nothing but these words. But it's not over and far from it. I needed to write this down to look at it, place blame where blame belongs, and identify the things that are holding me back, and resolve to move forward with the hopes and dreams that I've worked so hard to aspire to. Now, 2023 is just a mere 5 weeks away, and I will have the desire, and I pray that I can move forward. I still have many logs on the fire, and I'm addicted to the ideas and the challenges, but I really am, because I'm not going away anytime soon. But I guess I need to prioritize my ideas and fill that mind and keep me thinking, and hopefully find a way to box them up and open them up when I'm ready, instead of just leaving them on the floor in a pile, unstructured and messy. So I'm going to be coming back to the winner circle again soon. And Jason reminded me, very important reminder, that the Nomad Network is a special place, and it holds a special place in my heart. But not only is the Nomad Network a place for people that can go and start to learn how to start a business or do anything as far as wanting to get some ambition and going on an objective, it's a great place for community, other people, because there's all kinds of people there. There's people that are even starting out less than me, just starting out now, just getting their legs, kind of getting some information there. And I wanted to encourage anybody who goes there. I've got some slides here. I don't have a whole lot of fancy slides this time, because really I'm just trying to get this back into the groove. But here's the Nomad Network. Like I said, there's some show notes down below. It's got a link that says exactly the same thing, mynomadnetwork.app, sign up, and it's got a little code that just goes down there, and it just gives me credit for bringing it in. But that's just one of the great things that Jason Stapleton provides for us. I'm going to take you to the Nomad Network right now. I'm going to share my screen with you. And see, share the screen, please share the screen. And we're going to try to share the screen. It's not sharing yet, so I don't know what. There we go. Here we go. We're going to share the screen. Now, this is the Nomad Network, and of course, I put my link up there for everybody to look at if they wanted to come over and watch the show tonight. We've already had 2 or 3 people in here already for the live stream, and I appreciate all you guys for being here. And Ken's here, and Ken, I'm gonna send you a little message here on the backside, and you can respond to it if you want. But yeah, here's the network here. This is a great place. It's set up just like a Facebook or stuff like that, but basically, this is a place where we just communicate. And like I said, there's people here that like Drew Holmes. He's a $200,000 a month or a year member here and he doesn't pay that. This is what these are the kind of guys that we glean information from, because he's done this. He's gone forward. We got other guys, like Jason Stapleton. He's got this business growth accelerator that's starting tomorrow, and he puts up all his stuff together. Rob Linderman, who's a customer of my wife's, he's bought some stuff from us, and all these people here are on different levels of their entrepreneurship. Amy Nichols, she's a great tattoo artist. I mean, we have artists and all kinds of stuff. You want to talk about groups? We have the groups in here. We have groups like Bootstrap It, where you want to learn from day one how to start a business and you want to keep going. Boom. It'll take you from day one all the way up. They're on level 2 now. We got the homesteading group, which I'm really kind of active in. We got selling local. We've got a help wanted section. You want to learn how to podcast? You can go into the podcasting section. You need some support for parenting because you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out your time and stuff like that. We got artists. We got people that have brick and mortar shops, people that do design and manufacturing, finance and investing, health and fitness, you name it. We're there. We've got it. You want resources? We've got resources. Jason has put together all his groups, his core trainings, his teachings, his podcasts, everything you want to know. Right now, it's just all there for the asking. This thing is all the way free. And I don't understand why, we got a lot of people in there. We've got probably 2,500 people that are signed up for the app right now, and it's a great community. And it should be 10,000, should be 100,000 people. It should even be more than that. People just all getting together and exchanging ideas. There's no politics going on. There's no, bashing this and bashing that. It's really a community that likes to care for themselves. And sometimes you forget that. And when you forget that type of thing, then what happens is that you forget that those people are out there that are really there to commune with you, man. And it's just one of those things where you're just hoping, that they don't look down on you, and they don't look down on you. And that's the thing. When I go into the winner's circle, a lot of times I like to be like the first one to say hi and say, this is going on, that's going on. And I was really, really on a good rock and roll for a while. And for some reason, it's like I said, I started not feeling good. Had the appendectomy, came back. I was still raring to go. September came around, and just like I said, it just really didn't feel good, and that whole thing. And those things can hold you back. And without talking to anybody, without just kind of, coming home and doing things around the house. And, it's not that I wasn't doing anything with the business. It was more the thing that I was just not conveying that message to other people. And to me, that's a mistake, because you need the community. You need the people to build you up. You need the people that when you're coming out with an idea and they can say, hey, that's a good idea, or hey, you might not want to do that. You might want to try this. You might want to try that. You just never know what it's going to be. And like I said, life happens, man. You just never know when life is going to hit you upside the head, or whether it's going to bless you with, the idea that you've been working on all the time. So, like I said, some of the things that I'm working on is, I'm working on this barbecue brush. It's a crazy idea, but who knows? I got this barbecue brush that I want to have quick release things that like tongs and a brush and all kinds of things that click in and out of here, and that you can take temperature of your meat at the same time, kind of like a one-handed type tool. I mean, that's kind of the ideas I've got. I want to teach you guys how to do things, in your backyard, how to take care of your barbecues, how to grow a garden, how to plant a seed, how to take care of your soil, how to, doing all kinds of things that a lot of people don't want to do, or don't know, or during these times where, we have this high, we got this high unemployment, or not high unemployment, but we got this, this this inflation going on, you never know what's going to be going on, here or there. It's kind of a scary type situation. So I decided to get into this homesteading and permaculture and prepping type thing, and that's what I'm doing. So it's just another shiny object that I grabbed onto, and it's one of those things where bang, you're just constantly grabbing at things. You're constantly trying something new, see if it grabs onto. One of the problems that we have is that, like I said, I've got tunnel vision on my 9 to 5, because I got to be at my 9 to 5 every day, but I don't have to be at my business every day, because my business is not like, it's not like paying my bills. Okay. In fact, it costs me money to run this business, but that's okay, because I've got that in the background. The problem is that I haven't been sharing it. And what happens is that you come up with these letters like this, that you got to write. And if you don't write it down, you don't get that therapy. You don't do those things that you need to do to kind of get that stuff off your chest. It kind of builds up on you, and then you kind of recluse yourself back. And I don't want to recluse myself back anymore. So one of the promises I'm going to make to you guys, because it's really important to me, is that I'm going to be back on the network again. I'm going to be back at the winner's circle, whether I'm winning or whether I'm losing. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be back, and I'm going to be a major part of it, because it's been about a month and a half since I've been back, and I just thank God that Jason reminds me of that value that I bring to the network, and the value that other people bring to the network to encourage me. And even the things that I have, even the message that I gave you tonight, should act as an encouragement for other people to go like, hey, if this guy is having this kind of problems, what are my problems? I mean, come on, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep going on this homesteading thing. I'm going to keep going on this prepping thing. I'm going to keep going on this permaculture thing. It's important stuff. I'm going to keep going on this crazy notion that I want to make this barbecue tool. I'm going to do it. It's going to be the my pillow for the weathered soul. But I still want to keep going with my business for plant-based supplements and probiotics. I mean, I do that with a good friend of mine, John. And I had this whole repertoire of one I wanted to go through, kind of an analogy of what I was going to do with golf. But I'm just going to leave that alone, because really the analogy is not so much that it was that we have to do something, with an analogy to figure out what's going on. But it's one of those things where, I just really needed to come clean and just be here with you guys and let you guys know what exactly is going on, because it's important. I think it's an important message. And we have a special guest that just came on, and I love this guy. He just gave us a comment here a couple minutes before, and I'm going to add him to the stream. I want you guys to welcome up Ken Madden. Ken, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm going to hold on a sec, because
I didn't know he wasn't ready yet, so
I had to shut up. I got a sound problem here. Hold on one sec.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Madden. I'll let him just keep going to getting what he needs to get done. But this is Ken Madden, a very good friend of mine through the network. And me and Ken's been on the show before, back when it was called the Weathered Soul Podcast. I think he even opened up the first show, the Weathered Soul, as a matter of fact. And we've had a good time. We've had a good time going back and forth with stuff. And I know he's having a sound problem, so I'm just going to keep going as he gets himself ready. And he's, like I said, he's been a good friend. He's been a good kind of mentor for me. He's helping me out with a couple of different things, and he is ready to go. So
I think I'm ready. So I'm watching you on the YouTubes live, and then when we go to this, there's a delay. And I couldn't figure out. I got a second screen because I sent you a picture earlier. I'm sitting here. I'm just working on some paintings and some artwork tonight, and so everything you said, it was like the 7-second delay.
Yeah.
I swore like a sailor. He cut it all out. It worked really good. But Bruce, it is so good to see you back on the show and back on the network. Man, I can't even start to tell you how great of a explanation that was about what the network is and does, because just you can drop off for a while and then come back in. And what did you do? You picked up right where you left off.
Yeah.
Everyone comes in. How's it going, man? Everything all right?
I'm telling you, man, things are going great. Like I said, I had a terrible September. I really did. It was just like one of the worst Septembers I ever had in my life. And I know you've been going through some stuff too. And I'm telling you, the thing that kind of snapped me out of it was my nephew's wedding on October 2nd, and it was like the first day that I felt good in a long time. Nice. And then of course this shoulder problem, after the whiplash and the concussion is still bothering me and stuff, so it's kind of on and off, but been feeling stronger and better every day. And I knew I had to get back up on the horse. And like I said, I kind of typed out this letter, and secretly I sent it to Jason, and me and Jason had a talk, and like only Jason can talk, right? Right. And he's a great guy. Like I said, I'm so blessed to have you guys as friends. I consider you a mentor. I consider Jason, one of my major mentors. And I just wanted to do this show to kind of celebrate the Nomad Network and introduce some people that are on the network. And I'm glad that you came on, man. How you been? How you been?
I've been pretty good. For me, it was a rough September. It was a real rough October.
Yeah.
My dad passed away, as you know.
Yeah.
And he was 91. He was a musician. This is where you and me, we've done some stuff together, which is kind of cool. And
right.
But I think we had a connection there. The old man he played with Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald and Liberace and Barry Manilow and Michael Landon and Neil Sedaka and Bobby Darin and him were good friends. Him and Louis Armstrong were good friends.
Wow.
Cab Calloway.
Wow.
I got to hang out with Cab Calloway because of my dad. Count Basie, Duke Ellington. All those guys.
The tribute that you did to your for your dad through Facebook was just amazing to me.
Oh, cool.
I didn't miss one of those little tributes, and I'm not on Facebook anymore. I get on Facebook just to see what everybody else is doing, but I really don't post there anything other than an announcement that I'm doing a podcast. And
that's because Facebook's awful.
No more worse than Twitter, but
Twitter's really fun right now, though.
Yeah, Twitter is fun.
Because Elon is I love it when someone just kind of just sticks it to you. Just exactly. Like you can complain about me and say bad things about me all day. Just pay me $8. I'm like,
absolutely.
See, I love that. Yeah, I love that kind of irreverence when you're like, you know what? It reminds me. Remember the old commercials? I like the shave so much. I like the razor so much. I bought the company.
Exactly.
That's what he did.
So, hey, Ken, while you're here,
sure.
Tell me, number one, your little trip with the Nomad Network and Jason Stapleton, and actually what the community means to you, because you own your own company, and you have you to me, you're a successful guy with the motorcycle parts company and stuff like that, but it wasn't always like that for you, and I'm sure it wasn't. And everybody starts at the bottom, and then they have this roller coaster ride sometimes. But tell me exactly, without getting into a long story of your whole career in business, just give me kind of like a nutshell what everything means to you, and why me being here and you being here and the community being here means a lot. Well,
the network, it started with, I listened to, I was like you, I'm kind of the long time listener, first time caller with his show with Jason Stapleton back when he talked about politics, because I was deep in politics. Right. I pretty much dedicated my life outside of work to politics, and what a waste of time that was. But it really wasn't, because I know how it all works. I've seen the sausage made. I've seen the behind the scenes. There are no white hats in any of this thing. But when he switched, I remember when he switched, because his show was super popular. He was right up there with Tom Woods and all the big guys.
Yeah, he was.
And he's like, you know what? I'm just sick of this crap. I'm done with the Facebook group, because that turned into a S show. And he in 2018, I remember it was 2018. He's like, instead of doing a show every day, I'm going to do one like 3 days a week. And I'm not going to talk about politics really much anymore. I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. And because all through his political show, he would talk about, if you want to if you want to make change in the world, make change in your own world by being a successful person. Because and I was coming to that same realization kind of at the same time, because I was getting out of the political side of things. I was still in there pretty deep, but I was trying to figure out a way out. But I realized the same thing. I'm like, I ran the Tea Party groups. I could bring a couple hundred people to a school board meeting or to a city council meeting or whatever. But when I really needed them to do something that was going to take work, they all just kind of vaporized, And I'm like, this is useless. I said, unless I can deliver 10,000 votes or a couple of $1 million in funds to help a campaign, no one gives a crap, and I'm not making any difference. So why am I killing myself, wasting my time? Then we started talking more about the entrepreneurship. Like you said, I helped found a company to do motorcycle parts with some friends in 2014, and I've always had my own company, Mad K Studios, which is it's not really you know what, I'm an artist. It's Ken Madden. That's my taxes. I call it Mad K Studios because I just like the name. But eventually I'll make it an LLC and be about, for right now, taxes. I'm a sole proprietor, artist. I'm an artist. I get away with it. But anyway, I wanted to grow that, and I had spent. I know you as an engineer will have similar feelings. Through our lifetimes and careers of doing things, we've accomplished a lot for other people. So, I've made tens of millions of dollars for other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, I have a skill. I can draw and paint and do stuff. And that's all I want to do. It's my passion. It's consumed me in the last couple of years through COVID. And this network, what it meant to me was, you find where you lack, you really find where you lack. And there was something that Jason had said something many years ago in the show. He says, no matter what company you're in, whatever industry you're in the marketing business.
Mm-hmm.
And I never looked at it that way. And I realized I was good with talking with people, and some stuff I would do work, some stuff I didn't, but I never knew why. So I started taking this courses, and I'm so friggin' cheap. I didn't take one of his courses until he offered it for free. Right. I was like, "Oh, that's a good course. That'll be good." Oh, you want $50? I don't expect $50 with you, geez. And then he offered the course. It was like a 1 hour. I can't remember what it was now, but I was like, it was life changing. This hour I spent with him. And at the end of it, he had, "Hey, if you like this, here's another course you can buy, and I'll give you this $50." I'm like, instantly bought that $50 course. Then I'm like, $200 course.
He is great at that.
Then I'm sitting there, and it ramped up, and I'm, like I said, I'm the cheapest ass guy. I mean, the newest car I own right now is a 2008, and that's the newest car I've ever owned. I'm cheap. I don't like spending money, but I was getting so much out of that. And I started taking his courses, and he says, "Hey, I'm going to start this network called the 9-Figure Network." And it started out as that. And that was in 2018, right at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. Mm-hmm. I think I was one of the first 8 or 10 people in there. Right. And I was like, all right. And he had an app, and the app was really hokey, and it didn't work very well. There weren't many people engaging and talk. I mean, there was only like 25 of us in there, and it grew to 100 or 200. And then he went through a couple of different apps and finally changed the name to the Nomad Network, trying pushing it. I took more courses. He had a very expensive yearly, basically here, you can do everything I'm doing for a year it was a few $1,000s. Right. And I did it. And I'm like, my God, this is more than I usually spend for a car, And I'm spending it with this. And I told myself, if I don't get my money back out of this, I'm going to feel like a real heel. And I'm an ROI guy. You're in business. You have to realize money in, money out. And within 4 months, every penny I had put in, I had earned back by either getting more work, by implementing what we've learned, and talking to you mentioned Amy Nichols. Right. I talk about an artist. She's a completely different style of artist than I am, but it's the style that I've always strived to be able to do, and I can't. And she's like, "Well, let me help you with that. Let me give you some critique, and she'll help walk me through this. I'm an accomplished artist. I'm going to blow my horn. I'm very good. I've got artist design, I got patents.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Published it. But still, I don't want to ever just sit on that. That's all past. I want to look forward. How can I be better? How can I grow? And through marketing, through doing this kind of stuff, and just being able to talk with you, talk with the people on the network. And we, you and I have never met in person. We will one day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But, I know, and I hope you feel the same way. I'm sure you do, is that if there was ever something that was needed, a phone call away, and we're there. We will help each other out, and we have. You were one of the first.
We have. So exactly.
So, and you're a good friend, but you're also one of many that I've met on the network. I mean, Amy Nichols came out to Minneapolis. I'm in Wisconsin, everybody. I'm about 40 miles east of Minneapolis. My daughter lives over there, and Amy Nichols, a tattoo artist that was on the network, was doing a guest spot because she guest spot tattoos all over the country. She's that kind of good. I mean, amazing. And she was doing one in St. Paul, and my daughter lives like 15 minutes away and wanted to get a tattoo. So her and Amy worked together online, again, technology, through Zoom calls and emailing back and forth with the artwork. And she came out and she actually put a beautiful tattoo on my daughter's arm with my granddaughter's footprint tattooed with a pineapple, the sign of fertility and stuff, because she went through fertility, really hard. They did in vitro stuff. But this is the caliber of people that are on there. These are people, everyone wants to help each other. Something that really attracted me to it. There's no advertising. I can't go on there and say, hey, I'm Ken Madden, buy this painting from me.
Right.
They throw you off right away. And we've thrown out, 20, 25 people for coming on. And if there's a spam ad on there, they go, hey, I do this and this. And if you're ever looking for this to be done, I can do this for you, blah, blah, blah. It's up, 5-10 minutes. And
I've been warned.
Come on. Yeah. You better warn. I've run things by Jason. I'm like, so here's a story. Here's an example of how we collaborate. Like collaborating, you and me are helping each other right now by being able to talk. SEO and all that kind of stuff will work. They see the links, they see all those things. But there was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a picture of a house. One of the other guys in there, his name's Robert Stack. Robert Slack. Robert Stack's a different guy. But so we do these Wednesday night meetings. So we have the winner's circle. Every Wednesday night, we all get together and talk about our wins, losses, and stuff. Sometimes you just sit and listen. And there's this guy in there that's always in this house that's this amazing log cabin, right? You've seen it. Just
an amazing cabin.
And it's just, and he's got this great accent because he's from Argentina. He's a woodworker and a bodybuilder kind of guy, which is I am not. That's another talent I don't have. But I kept seeing the inside of this house, and so I finally he put up some picture of the outside, which was even more spectacular, out in Colorado in the mountains and in the evergreen trees and the pines and the rivers. And so I asked Jason, I'm like, Jason, I want to reach out to somebody on the network and do something for him. But I needed a house that I could draw because I do portraits of houses, and that's why I'm trying to build that business. But I needed some cool house that I could draw that I could use just to shamelessly promote myself. That wasn't going to get, because some people are weird about their houses, my address, whatever. And I went on there and I'm like, Jason, I got a thing. I got to break the rules a little bit, but how do I do this without? And I told him, I said, here's what I want to offer this guy a painting of his house for nothing. If I can just use I just want to use the image for all kinds of advertising and stuff. Right. Jason's like, well, that's not exactly advertising. You're giving him something. Yeah. So I know, but that's the level of careful that most people are on there. You are that careful too.
Yeah.
Like, something comes up and they're like, hey, we know you're not trying to do this, but this is coming off a little bit. And instantly you're like, call
to action. Yeah, call to action. We can't have call to action.
Yeah, you keep the call to action.
Which is cool because it should be that way. And because everything starts getting clouded up with, everybody wants to sell you something. Everybody's got a better idea. Everybody's got this and that. But that's why we have all these little communities and stuff that we've got, those groups that we have, the homesteading group, the podcasting group, the brick and mortar group, the winner circle, like I said, which I'm going to be returning to on Wednesday night, and just all these other programs. And what the awesome things that I remember or that I know that is going on is that all those things that you and I paid for are now free.
Yeah.
I mean,
that should have pissed me off and it didn't.
But it's one of those things that Jason had an epiphany, and he got this idea, and he just went like, I know he always tells a story about one of his mentors saying that you give your best stuff away free,
Right?
And to me, the best stuff that Jason gives away is himself.
Exactly.
And he's an upstanding guy, and I think that everything that he puts out is just fantastic. It's just full of great information. The people that he has surrounding him are just great people. The people that he's assembled into the Nomad network are great people. I haven't found one person that I've disliked yet.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that true?
It is. It's amazing the attraction of the people and the quality of people that come to the network. And the other thing that amazes me is that you can get the information that you want. Somebody's always able to even at the Winter Circle, new people that come in, all of a sudden they get a connection that day, and they're talking after the Winter Circle and stuff like that.
True story. 2 weeks ago, a gal named Lena came into the Winter Circle for the first time. I think she's in Illinois or Indiana, maybe Indiana, and she has a T-shirt business. Awesome. And she has a T-shirt business, right? And I'm like, literally that day at work, I'm laying out a new T-shirt, and I'm like, we want to do a limited number of high-end, like custom art that I do T-shirts that when they're gone, build a little scarcity, and we'll do a few of them every year, maybe 3 or 4 of them. And we're looking for vendors that'll, because I can go online and get them, but they're, you're not going to spend $25 a T-shirt to sell them then, because you can't make any money. You have to sell them for $80 a piece to cover the costs. So she just happened to talk about her T-shirt business. I'm new here, and I just got this T-shirt. I'm like, whoa, back that buzz up. Message me, and I went right on while we were in the meeting. I went on the network and requested to be friends with her, message and stuff like that. And I said, hey, I'm literally in the middle of doing this, and like within a week, I had finished the artwork and sent it to her, got a quote. And now she's in the running to get the shirt, and she'll probably end up getting the job, which would be a pretty big job for them for a small company. But that's the kind of thing that happens all the time. You and me. I was immeasurably flattered that you were like, hey, can you put down a drum? I play drums. Can you put down a drum track for me? I'll send you the song. I'm like, man, I was like, hell yes.
We got more collaboration to do too.
Hey, I got to tell you, I've got a keyboard now, and I'm learning, relearning how to play the piano a little bit. I was never good at it, but I played a little bit as a kid. Yeah. But so you'll love this. Journey, Don't Stop Believing, right?
Oh my gosh.
It starts out do the piano player. So one of the guys at work like throws up in his mouth if you even say the word journey. Just hates it.
I'm kind of like saying that.
Yeah, no. So he moved away. He moved away, right? And he still works with us, and we Zoom in calls every Tuesday. So I'm practicing how to play that beginning of that song so that one of the Zoom calls, when he pops in, that's what's going to be on. Me playing the piano in our business Zoom call. But I'll tell you what.
We just put that on. You just put on that on one of the keys on your keyboard, and you play it as a soundboard, and just have all the different types.
I'm going to sit there and play.
Oh yeah, you can play that too.
I actually learned this just to mess with them. But I'll tell you what. I've got the right hand. I can play the right hand perfectly. Yeah. I can close my eyes. I can have a couple beers. I can play the right hand. I can play the left hand perfectly. Just say, for the life of me, I can't get them together. And I play drums, and I'm not a terrible drummer. I'm not Buddy Rich, but I'm pretty good. And it's syncopation and all that. In the piano, everything's opposite because your dominant hand's oh man, I'm having a hell of a time.
It is actually one of my dream instruments is to learn how to play the piano, but at 62 I'm going like I'm having a hard time even playing my guitar now.
Hey man, it's 62. My sister at 62 picked up the bagpipes.
Now my gosh!
Now she tours around the country and the world with a bagpipe crew playing bagpipes.
Fantastic!
So I'm not taking that. I'm calling you out on that one, Bruce.
I know. Everybody calls me out on all that stuff. It's like you can still do it, dude. You're
still
young. You're young. But hey, like I said, down there at the bottom, I'm scrolling how you can get to the Nomad Network and sign up, and even just just go down and just go to my.nomadnetwork.app. Forget about the sign up and the code there, because it really means nothing. I would much rather have you sign up for the network and be a part of the network than to get credit for signing up. I mean, Jason loves it when he can give credit to people, but really, I just want to get more people in there, more people interested in the network, and just get this awesome amount of people that'll come around you, they'll surround you, they'll support you, they'll give you everything that they can possibly give you. And Jason's going to be in the background smiling and doing the same thing, going like, man, I've got something better for you now here. And he's got something that he's always working on. He's got some content that he's always going to surprise you. He's got videos up the wazoo on YouTube. He shares that stuff every day. It's just, Jason's such an amazing person. I'm so blessed that, I was able to stumble upon him, and it was all by chance. And
I'd like to add something about Jason too.
Yeah.
He's, as you're buying stuff and things like that, you're a client of his, right? And he's a very friendly person. He doesn't take clients that he doesn't enjoy working with.
Right.
And I had the opportunity in May when I was down in Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
I was down there for a week visiting my folks. And, I reached out to him, say, hey, I'm in town and I'd love to meet. Maybe we meet for coffee or something, just briefly. I know you're a busy guy and stuff like that. And he took a whole evening out with his wife. And I'm just some schmo.
Yep.
And we went to this beautiful restaurant over in Scottsdale and had a great dinner. And I was there with my wife and him and his wife. And we just had a wonderful time, took some pictures together. And he's the real deal. It's not this isn't an act for him.
Yeah.
Because I could, it's one of the reasons I wanted to meet with him, to tell you the truth. I wanted to see if I could sniff that out. It's not there. It's just not there. He's the real deal. So a lot of people that have met him and talked to him and worked with him from the network that have stuck with him and implemented the things. That's the other thing, is to implement the stuff that we're learning, not just from him. It's not like this cult thing. It's not, the Jason Stapleton world, because the breadth of people that you're going to meet in the network, it's literally a nomad network of people that will help you.
Right.
Will do things. And it's for people that want to do more. It's the best kept secret online right now. It's the first app I open up in the morning when I get up to see what's going on. And it's usually the last one I shut down before I plug in the phone and go to bed.
Yeah. I'll tell you what lit the fire under my butt. And I've been listening to some different podcasts too. I listened to Jack Spurko. I also listened to what they call the Permaculture Pimpcast, which is Billy Bond, and they're out of North Carolina. And Billy Bond, I've been kind of following him a lot because he's a little prepper, and I'm doing a little prep stuff around here. And he goes to these festivals and he teaches people how to dress up pigs and stuff like that, and
right.
butcher stuff, all that stuff. And he's got people that coming up to him and asking for advice all the time. And he goes like, I'm going to give you advice one time. You come back and you ask me for the advice the second time. It's like you just don't want to do it.
Right.
Right. And that's kind of when I started thinking about this letter and started getting my act together and starting to go like, I need to get back to the Nomad Network, because, not only did I make a commitment to myself, when I made that commitment to come onto the network and commune with these people and be able to be your friend, Ken, and everybody else's, whatever they listen to me for, this podcast, which is important, that I hope to some people. And it's just like, there's some people that really need to hear what you have to say. But at the same token, I made that commitment to Jason, that I was going to do exactly those things that not only that I bought from him, that free advice that he gives to me, all that good stuff that he comes out with, on a daily basis, just to encourage you, just to kind of push you forward. And I think it's an insult sometimes if he does give you that time, if he gives you that personal touch, which he's given to me, to not do it would be a slap in the face.
Well, and this is what I like. He'll call you out on it.
Oh yeah.
He'll just like, well, did you do this thing? And I'm like, well, I was gonna, but this other thing came up. And he's like, well, go do that thing, and then we'll talk again next month, because until you do that thing, I can't help you.
I can't help you.
And I can give you this in practice too, because it's one of the things that I've done. Is 2 years ago I started doing acrylic paintings. I've done artwork and drawings and painting all my life, but never with acrylic paintings, other than one drawing I did in high school that I hated. So I never touched it again because, one experience in 1985 scarred me for life. Anyway, 2 years ago, I started acrylic painting. And, the imposter syndrome of, I don't know if this is good enough. People are going nuts over what I was doing, but it was mostly family. So I'm like, yeah, my sister liked the picture of the cats, I did her. But everyone else liked the picture too. But I was like, it's my sister, So I've just strived to get better. And I sought out other painters that were like, okay, if I practice for 100 years, I may never be that good, but I can be half that good in maybe at 2 years. So I started practicing, and I never really get to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to create a massive amount of paintings. One of the other people, Carol LeBaron on the network, she's another artist that does textile arts and crafts and I shouldn't say crafts. I mean, her pieces are $10,000, $12,000. She's absolutely brilliant. But she's like, I want to see you do some stuff just for you. And I hadn't considered that. And I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I did that. And I did some stuff just for me. I did some stuff, beautiful painting that I gave to my dad that I brought down, 2 weeks before he died. And he sat there and stared at that thing for days when we were down there. That's what he looked at. Right. Everyone that walked in the door, look at the painting Kenny did, he says, and I'm like, wow, this is great. And then Inktober came up. So Inktober, for those of you,
that's great for you.
Inktober is my favorite thing. I discovered it from who? Vincent Ferrari, who I met where? On the network.
Right.
And so basically, there's a company. I don't know, just a list of words. One word for every day in October comes up, and you have to illustrate that somehow, however you want. And if you just search, just go and hashtag Inktober, search anywhere, and it's a rabbit hole. You'll spend hours. But anyways, you do a drawing every day or painting. So this year I said I'm going to do paintings. The last 2 years I did pen and inks. I said this year I'm going to really focus on doing paintings, and I'm also going to focus on making sure I can do them in under 2 hours, and they have to be good. They have to be good. One of them wasn't. It was terrible. But the other 30 of them were good. And each one got a little bit better. And I thought, okay, at the end of the month, that I'm going to do something I'd never done before. I'm going to go to an art craft show and set up and sell these things. So I started, and there's one in town here. It's a craft show. I'm in Baldwin, Wisconsin. It's a craft show Saturday the 19th at the Phoenix Bar and Grill if you're nearby. Oops, slipped in a plug. But we went last year with my wife. We just went to see it, and the whole town, like every church, the high school, all the shops in town, the restaurants and bars, full of, thousands and thousands of people in this. Our town's 3,000 people, but it like doubles its on this day. Anyway, so I'm setting up there, and I made little panels and stuff so I can hang, and I'm going to sell these paintings. So I started advertising online. Hey, I'm going to be there. So I sold 4 of the paintings already.
Nice.
but did I ship to people? 2 of the people were people from the network, and one of the guys in the network, Drew, that you had mentioned before, who was an incredibly nice fellow. He bought one right. He was the first guy. He's like, I did one that was about baseball, and his son loves baseball. He bought it right away. He's also the guy that, again, I'm just saying this because this is the network. This is the community of people that we're talking about. When my dad died, he was a musician. He played trombone and piano. Absolutely brilliant trombone player. Well, I got one of his trombones. I got a Bach Stradivarius trombone of his. My mom gave it. He was like, Dad would want you to have this. And so I messaged Drew, and I'm like, hey, I need to buy some stuff to make sure I get the right stuff to care for this. And so he sent me a little care package of it. No charge. She's just like, here, I'm so sorry for your dad. Here's something for you. This will help you. If you have any questions, give me a call. What a wonderful thing. And again, he's another person I've never met in person. Right. And we will eventually. We're going to have a convention.
Yeah. a family reunion. Hey, listen, guys. Hey, if you like everything that you see on your screen right now, especially up there at the top where it says Weathered Soul, that little shadowy object on the left, that little icon on the right, that man right there, Ken Madden, is the one that made all of that. And I'm telling you what, he was one of the ones that came up at the first of the year and was helping me out with my logo. I just reached out to him. He came back to me and says, hey, I could do that. There I go. I owe Ken what I've done this year so far. and what we're going to do in the year 2023. Ken, stick around, man. I want to talk to you after the show and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and close this out real quick, and just thank everybody for being here tonight. This has really been a lesson in humility for me, and being able to be here with you guys and be back on the air doing this podcast. For you guys that are on the network, I want to tell you, I'm going to be back. I'm not going to shy away. I know that sometimes some of my losses could be wins for somebody else. So I was just going to make this promise to you guys that I'll be there as much as I can for you guys. I know that you guys have been there for me, and I just want to thank you guys for being a part of the podcast. All the show notes are down below. You can go see me at the Weathered Soul right there. The Weathered Soul. That's my website. You can catch me on Twitter at also known as TWS. And then if you want to pay me in Bitcoin, which I love to be paid in Bitcoin, I don't care what Bitcoin is doing right now. Just give me that, send me some Bitcoin at that address, and I will be more than happy to take it. But I wanted to give you guys a good thanks, and thank you to Jason Stapleton, Ken Madden. Thank you for being on the podcast and coming on to me at the last minute. And I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks with some great content on some homesteading, prepping, and permaculture, a little bit of entrepreneurial, a little bit of some self-financial advice and stuff like that. I do it all here. You got Bruce, aka the Weathered Soul, on the Weathered Soul. You guys have a great